Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we are on episode 5 of Tales from the Emissaries. I don't know how many more we're going to do of these. This meta's been kind of, as you guys may have noticed, I haven't even touched soirees, and I probably won't. I'm not a fan of the deck, and I don't think I can get behind it. And I don't mean that it's a bad deck, it's just, it all comes too easy to me, right? Like it just, plug and play kind of thing. And I mean, it's a great deck, but I'm just this series isn't about that for me, right? This series is about like coming up with new ideas and revisiting, uh, you know, certain cards that I think have a lot of potential and things like that. So, yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap up this Water Lightning Scions one for now. I know we just got like spoiled a new Alice that I think is gonna fit in here, and at that point we will revisit this list, right? I think the only changes I made was a few backup line changes here. Um, I added Class 6 Moogle. Actually, the King of Burmese is probably not supposed to be here because there's no Dragoons, but the Lumina is an important one, and the Sage. We just needed a few more cards that would, filter through the deck a little bit faster and help us get to, ramp, like not only just create the back row that we need, but also not go super neg, right? Because this deck requires a lot of resources sometimes. And the Lumina is a great way to get the lightning when we're in tough situations. So, yeah, that's about it. I like the way the list plays, right? It plays really strong. So we're going to put this one down for now. The next one that I finally got to test, and I think is doing really well, is this Rebels. So, yeah, adding the Soul and the Morrow changed things a couple times, but the biggest issue I found while playing this is the Crystal generation, right? Because Furion exhausts them and Soul uses them as well. So if I'm not able to do the, party attack to get more from the Soul, it becomes problematic, right? So even with the 2 backups and the Rem and the Charlotta, it's still not enough, because if Furion gets removed, you find yourself having to use more of them just to make Furion relevant, right? We have already seen some new Rebels, and I think the whole next set is called Rebellion's Call, so I expect this list or Rebels to be much different in the next set, so I'm also going to put this one down. What I did try this week, and which I'm excited to share with you guys, is the new monsters, and this old idea I had for just like abusing Setzer and Golbez. We used to call it Morphing Jar because it would reveal, off the top and play. But now it's just, reveal the win or whatever, right? So this new monsters was like, I wanted to take these 2 cards, the Land and Rain, and just expand on them a little bit. Also, mostly Rain, right? Because Rain I found had a lot of potential with cards like Noctis. And things like Twilight Odin, and just things that sometimes take too long to be powerful. And so I built this, and the Aerith, the Mira, the Larkishas thing, it all works out. It all works out independently, right? But I feel like when I built a monster heavy deck, there's too much emphasis on the monsters, right? And so when you don't see monsters for some reason, right, like the few times I did test this, it was like I had troubles maintaining these, like, their abilities when I didn't have monsters out, right? So for example, a skeleton sits there, and if I could choose to crack it, right, but if it doesn't break anything, it's kind of bad. The Corel's the same, right? I don't want to break it unless we move into like a battle phase, like something like that, right? And then the Goblin, this is a post like change after playing it, and the Thunder Drake's same thing, right? A lot of these things sit here, and so I think the idea is to have more monsters that like you use them right away, or things you can pitch and recover later, right? And so when things need to stick, they're not so good. Also, comparing it to the way I was using them here, they weren't primary, right? They were a secondary thing, and I think in that respect they're a lot better as well. Mainly because, for that reason, right? Like I don't find myself being trapped into, oh, I don't have the monster, so I need to find a monster, use a monster, and leave them or pitch the monsters, right? And pitching them is part of the problem because we need them for the answers sometimes. So it just felt weird. I still like the idea, but I think next week again we're just gonna drop all of these lists and just move on to some other stuff. If I do continue like talking about the set, we're already moving into spoiler season for Opus 17, and some would say this meta is already pretty set, right? And like I said, as much as it bugs me to say, Scions, not Scions, Soirees are here, and they're probably here to stay for a while. So I don't think I'm just gonna move into those other decks, right? But there's still a few things I gotta get off me, so we'll see. Stay tuned, right, for that one. This one is probably my favorite one, and I think is what I played at locals, like for the tournament. It's definitely an absolute ton of fun. So the main thing, if you can't already tell, right, big numbers and free value, right? So Setzer, highly overlooked card, I think, back in when it came out. But reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a character, you may play it on the field, right? Costs you 1 crystal. He's 4 CP, 4/7, and at the end of each of your turns, if a forward you control is put from the field of the break zone, gain another crystal. So, things that mattered, right? We had the Yule to kind of peak, right? Agrius generating an enormous amount of crystals. Being able to search her turn 1 with Duke, leaving her at AK, and I don't want to call her untargetable, but realistically your opponent doesn't want to do it right away, right? So you're going to ideally net 1 or 2 crystals at the most. I got 2. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there was some games where she generated me like 5, and we were super good to play all of these things, right? Remora for 2 is just a great way to play. But yeah, so the Agrius is your main crystal generator. Obviously you have the 2 backups. I think I changed these numbers a little bit. I had 1 Devout and another Babis, or another forward here that I could play. I think there was the 7-drop Lightning or something. But now, some of the problems I had with this deck were when we don't have the Yule, sometimes we gamble, right? We're gambling still. And it's not to say that the gambles don't pay off, but it does become problematic. So the times I did lose was when I missed, right? I revealed another Setzer, or I revealed of course one of the 3 Remoras in the deck. And by cutting these out, yes, I increase the odds and it just makes it easier, but I also have less abilities to play with, right? So less resources to kind of maintain all of these cards. But either way, Aromas and Renoa were great cards. The Alcid into Setzer, or Alcid into, yeah, I think that was the best play, right? It was Alcid into Setzer, reveal the Renoa. Renoa plays the Alcid, drops the Toto, gets back something else. Next turn we play another set, or like we flip another Setzer if we need to. So it's just you're able to drop like 4 or 5 bodies in one turn with this deck, and it's great. The other thing was I had 1 X-Death here, and I know this is kind of like annoying, but it works both ways, right? Like, so X-Death is also a card named X-Death in all situations. So when you have this out, you can use this as the S, and so being able to bring this out for free from a Setzer is just really great. I think if we wanted to continue with this, we could probably move a couple of things around. But I think overall, just creating a deck around the Agrius and the crystal usage, like from the Remora, and other spells that require that, like maybe, I know we've already seen Ice Fire already, but Ice Lightning needs a little more love, and so, this is why I did it. Being able to drop any of these off the top are just great. And then 2, if Golbez is able to catch some stuff later, he helps out a lot too. But he was probably the slower part of this deck. I think I only got him off once, whereas Setzer and everything else just put in a lot of work. And then Fusoya is still a great card. With cards like X-Death and Babis in the list, you're just you're hitting pretty high numbers. The CP counts a little bit. It's 4.8, 4.28 and a half, but I don't know. It was fun. This was I think in terms of whether I'm going to continue with this list, it's going to be a less Setzer approach, but a more crystal approach. and I think that's where Ice Lightning is best going forward. Obviously, we have a whole new set about to drop, and that could change. But it's this card. This card just generates. I got a lot of questions about it when I was playing. It's like, why no Laswell? Why no the Night package? I'm like, because they're 2-drops, and it's not really. I don't need to cheat those guys in. Those guys do good work already, right? But the whole thing here is to find a way to bring in all of these guys for free, and reuse these abilities and reuse these cards, right? So whenever Setzer dies, we can get it back with Toto, we get it back with X-Death, or I could play another one off of the Alcid or replay with the Renaults, things like that, right? Just get these guys out as quick as possible. But yeah, guys, this is the last week's wrap-ups. I wanted to have a little bit more, but I don't want to say I was forced to play mono wind, but I played my wind deck twice, like in the last week as well, and so I just that deck is too good. I really think people are still sleeping on that list, but yeah, that's it. Let me know which ones of these you guys are like the most, and which ones you might try. I highly recommend building this one for fun. It should catch a lot of people off surprise. Maybe just take the gamble, get rid of the Remoras, and add other big stuff, right? Like the Lightnings, or maybe take out the X-Death and put a Veritas, so you don't get like stuck with this in case you wanted to do it the other way. But yeah, that's all. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a good day, and hopefully I can come back next week with some more deck lists. All right, take care.